Hello guys and welcome back. This is Mr. C's. Now I've actually made this video before about 20 minutes ago and realised the sound wasn't working on OBS. So here we go again. Now this is a bit of a KVK overview. So KVK hasn't been going great. Oh, also guys, what do you think about the new border and stuff like that? And obviously I have done facecam before, but I had problems with my laptop, so kind of had to stop doing that. There was encoding problems and all sorts, and it was just lagging and issues, and it was just a bit of a pain. So now I know the border around the screen is a bit OTT, but it hides all my resources from you guys, so you know, it keeps you guessing. You know, maybe I've got absolutely tons left, 50 billion resources left up here, but you'll never know. So yeah, KVK is not going well at all, and in fact we've been kicked out of the zone now. Well, I say kicked out of the zone, we've still got some territory. But we did have a fort next to the is it Circle? Tempest Sanctuary, which has now been captured by the enemy. And we were just totally overrun by them in the end. We started off really well initially. In fact, we were actually fighting at their pass. The whole ball went over to the pass, stopping the build and everything. And it was crazy. It was going really well for about an hour. And then it started getting really, really bad. And we just didn't have the field control, no field control at all. It seemed like any point of the day. Now I'm absolutely shattered because I've been fighting a lot. You know, I try and stay up as late as I can fighting, and at my age it's quite a struggle, to be honest with you guys. So I am tired, and you can probably tell that by looking at me. But yeah, every single fight I was in was horrendous, and siege in this KVK was absolutely horrible. And in fact, I do need to make a video. My next video, or this video, was supposed to be, now, do you invest in a siege march in 2025? Certainly, I would suggest do not be a siege main. But again, saving for that for the next video. But yeah, it's just been a total struggle. It's getting harder and harder, and we're not getting any better commanders than we had multiple years ago now. It's been a long time since we had a Guardia Cordoba. In fact, let's just check quickly. Cordoba was out in 2024, so okay, just over a year ago, so a year and a half ago now since Cordoba was released. And yeah, he's the best we've got. Every other troop type is basically getting power crept. You know, the new Watch Commander is just ridiculous, getting crazy mad reports. I've seen mad reports in about 5 minutes where a siege march would have to take about half an hour to get that sort of report. But people think siege are broken. It's just absolutely crazy. You know, it takes so long to get a decent report from siege. I know the trades can be good, but to be honest with you, I struggled to trade even 3-4 to 1 a lot of the time, and many times I end up in the negative, many times, because you're a sitting duck to the enemy, and they just swarm me straight away. Now, not only did we perform badly up north, we also performed badly with our allies down south. So they've been kicked out of the zone as well, because it's left versus right. We are on the right side as Earth Camp and Wind Camp. I believe that's Wind Camp. And yeah, look at these forts. There's a lot of forts here this time. But yeah, they're completely out of the zone, blocked off at their the passes, their pass fours. So yeah, not going very well at all. Now, top versus bottom probably would have been better, but I know these guys pre-allied before KVK. So yeah, fair play to them if that's what they want to do. It is what it is. You know, we try anyway. At least it's good to get some fights. You know, everyone wants to fight. You know, you can still get some value out of KVK, getting heads and materials and stuff like that. There's loads of benefits in being a KVK. It's not all about winning. I did expect us to perform a little bit better, but VV have been incredible. Now, there's been loads of people saying about them having pilots and stuff like that, but I know most kingdoms have pilots. You know, maybe they have more than usual. I don't know, but they're a great alliance anyway. That they've absolutely slayed the enemies, which was us, unfortunately. Some crazy big whales here, and Twin Scar has performed exceptionally, along with other players in here. But you know, the big spenders and stuff like that, I've seen run around 6 or 7 marches already. And I do want to get onto Crystal Tech, because you know, there's some things I want to say about Crystal Tech which are good, and then other things which I think are unnecessary. We shouldn't have to be doing them. So we'll get onto that shortly. Again, I've made this video before, so I'm going to try and cut it shorter now. Now, I know you guys haven't seen it, but it is what it is. Now, amount of kills, I'm nearly at 17 million. So for a zone fight, firefight only, you think, yeah, that's not bad, but I have struggled in this KVK, like I say. And it shows on the expedition leaderboard, maybe, or top points leaderboard. Okay. So kill points, now that's obviously not actual KP. I've definitely earned more than 80 million KP. And this guy's probably earned way over 1 billion. In fact, I know that, where is he? Mr. Shelby's earned over 1 billion KP already, which is great for him. I know he's doing really well. He's putting a lot of effort as well. So the top guy here has probably gained 2 billion KP. These have all gained about 2 billion KP. That's 6 billion KP. And I think as a camp, no, not as a camp. Yeah, no, as a kingdom, I think we're on about 17 billion KP. So those three guys are like a third of our entire kingdom, which is absolutely crazy. So as you can see, the trades 80 million to 61 million in heal points. It's a little bit better than 1-to-1. You know, it's not 2-to-1 trades. You know, when people say siege are broken, is it? You know, I'm a siege main. I'm running 4 siege marches, and I have been trying Archimedes out and Mary. They've been okay, but they're nowhere near getting the amount of kills that the other siege marches get. They're only just better than the epic commanders, I'd say. So, would you invest in them in SOC? No, don't. You may want to pair one of them with Afonso if you are a siege main, but again, I don't really suggest you doing that. It's not clever, not with the power crept on other commanders right now, and obviously Lilith seems to be out of favour with engineering commanders. They're not releasing any better commanders than what we've had. Now I know they want to backtrack because there's a lot of people moaning, and a lot of people don't realise that siege marches aren't as OP as they think they are. But you know, that's just people. You know, they love to moan, especially the Cav players. They always think they deserve more. You know, they're the exception that should always be best. So I hope they're really annoyed about the Archer Commander too. Is it QSH or QSI? I don't know what his name is. Q something, but he's exceptional. I always try and target on the field, by the way, so try and kill them as fast as possible because their AoE is crazy. Some of the reports, him paired with YSG is just slaying the field. YSG is a KVK 1 commander. You can get him before you start KVK 1, and he's performing exceptionally well with obviously the brand new Archer commander, which is just unfathomable. You know, why is that happening? That shouldn't really be happening, should it? But fair enough. You know, archers, they're not had much really for a while now. Zhuge Liang is very, very good too, in my opinion, but it is what it is. So resources spent, 8 billion resources spent so far, which is a fair amount. Again, I think a lot of people think that siege players don't spend resources, but they do. You know, it's incredibly expensive, just like any other troop type. And we're sitting ducks, we're just sat in the tower, we're ready to get swarmed a lot of the time. But if you pull out too early, you don't even get an active skill off potentially. So, you know, it's very, very hard. It is like playing Rise of Kingdoms in hard mode, ultra hard mode, in fact. So there we go, guys. That is our KVK so far. Where do we go from here? Now, obviously, we've got Altar battles left, you know, next, and I'll be happily streaming these, to be fair. Now, it could be a bit of a difference because they're only going to be able to put one march out, these whales. But as we know, the new Archer guy, absolutely crazy. He's gonna be running the field in Altar of Darkness. So that'll be really interesting to see how he does. I'd expect to see pretty much every march. Obviously, you can have 2 marches to alternate. So I guess probably see a lot of archers, to be honest with you. Maybe some infantry too. You may see some Scipio Luces as well as Zhuge. Let's say ZL and the new Archer Commander QSI, whatever his friggin' name is. I don't know what it is, but yeah, he'll be performing very well in Ultra Darkness for everybody. Obviously, bringing a couple of siege marches. Not sure which 2 pairs I'm going to pick yet. Don't know when Afonso's going to be here yet either, guys. So I wouldn't have thought he'd be available for this. But in a week's time, we've got our first Altar battle, so I want to stream that. So put that in your diaries, guys. Next Monday. I don't know what time it will be. It could be like stupid o'clock. But we'll give it a go anyway, guys. Obviously, with siege marches, see how they do. Now, they do usually perform very well in Altar of Darkness, but I don't know this time. I really don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to perform. Pass 7 should be interesting, because that usually performs very well for Siege as well. Sitting at a pass, waiting to see people pop through and pew-pewing at them, of course. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Like, have we even got a chance of Kingsland? I'm really not sure. We've got pushed out both sides here fairly easily as well. Like, we just didn't stand a chance. At Crystal Tech may play a part better later in the KVK, because obviously people, if they're running one troop type like me, they should have their line just about sorted. So getting onto Crystal Tech is what obviously we wanted to speak about as well. Now, I want to choose just one path. Now, I'm a Siege main. I only use Siege on the field, so nothing else is necessary. You know, obviously, we want to increase troop capacity, which is great now, to be honest with you. Never had so many troops in a march, and I'll show you, like, I've got 290k in a march without 50% expansion. Now, I usually have like 315, 330 or so, like, maximum in a march before in previous KVKs. And now I've got like 400k in a march with expansion. So I did manage to max, you know, these sections of the Crystal Tech. Now, obviously, I'm working on larger camps and stuff like that, but I have to then put crystals into cutting corners. And honestly, for what it's worth, I don't want to be wasting crystals here. I want to be continuing along the siege path, but it's not possible. I think, personally, that these should be optional extras. Like, if you want to reduce the cost, like, fine, but I never really spend that many crystals anyway. Like, I can see a huge whale wanting to get 10 into these as soon as possible, because you are going to save in crystals in the long run, whereas I'm trying to spend a minimal amount of crystals to max my, you know, single string. So I see some of these as not really necessary. You know, leadership, not important. Karaku reports I do like. Obviously, you want to get as much crystal income as possible, and, you know, damage to the Karaku warriors, which can be quite difficult sometimes. Barbarians, if you're doing a lot of barbarians, you may want to up that a little bit. Now, I don't want to go mad on this. I don't really want to get 15 points into this, but I presume I'm going to have to progress, which shouldn't be necessary. These should all be optional extras if you want them. If you think, oh, okay, I do want a bit of crystal cost reduction because I'm going to focus 3 troop types here, which is going to get really expensive, by the way, guys. Now, I've spent 20 million crystals so far to get where I've got to. Now, I don't spend on Crystal Tech. I do buy the crystal mine, yes. Very rarely I'll buy the odd pop-up. One of the cheaper ones, maybe like $2.99 or $5.99, just to give a little bit of a boost in crystals there. But overall, I like the idea of what Lilith have put out with Crystal Tech. Obviously, being able to just focus on one troop type, but just reduce the amount you need to put into these, really, to progress. Like, maximum of 5, I'd say, in each one, or just even less than that. I mean, you shouldn't have to put any in them at all to progress further on down the line. It shouldn't be necessary. It should be anything in the line that you're choosing, you may have to obviously max before you get to the next stage. I get that, but yeah, like, am I going to need rapid retreat? Am I going to need emergency support later down the line? Because I don't really need these. I don't need runecraft. I'll just use other people's runes, you know. I don't need that at all. If I see a rune at someone's city, you can actually take it. It's really good, actually, guys. Like, you can get 15% healing speed, you know, 10% troop health. Yeah, it's quite a good one to have. I don't know the cost of it. If it's dead cheap, then I probably would get it. Now, another thing to mention is Gumbo from the Siege chat is actually trying different combinations of commanders because of this new tech. Now, there could be changes, you know. Maybe Cordoba is performing better as a primary with Gorge Marder. You know, maybe even Stephen with the full skill tree could perform better as a primary with John. I don't know. So once I get that Crystal Tech up a little bit more, you know, maybe past 7, maybe in future altar battles, I could try alternating, because I don't know which 2 marches I'm going to use in Altar of Darkness at the moment. But maybe I do use Cordoba Gorge Cordoba, and maybe John and Stephen. Or, like I say, if Afonso's out, maybe it'll be Afonso and Stephen. That's probably going to be a stronger pairing. I'm not sure yet. We'll obviously do some testing and stuff like that. But Mary and Archimedes, they won't be there in Altar, that's for sure, because they do get wrecked. So, guys, thank you for watching. Again, see you on the next one, and I'm going to have a bit more of a rant about Siege, actually. A rant about Siege, yeah, which is kind of mad for me saying. Now, yeah, one next video is going to be, like, do you invest in Siege in 2025? And honestly, guys, at this moment of time, I'm really not sure that Siege is a good investment. And the future of Siege looks very, very doubtful. Now, I know that adding stuff to Soroli and stuff like that, but it's not good enough. Where it counts is on the field against other players, not in Soroli. I don't care about being a Soroli bosses. I can take it or leave it. So, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. This is me, Mr. Siege, and bye-bye.